So we're talking about promises, right? Just started the recording. Promises we keep ourselves is going to build self-confidence. So waking up when you say you're going to wake up, regardless of what that time is, not hitting the snooze button, right? Going through your classes on a daily regimen because it's going to build your self-confidence because you're going to put yourself ahead of the competition because we have the best education, real estate education, financial education out there, right? Finishing what you say you're going to do, regardless. So for example, me, I like to what I've been practicing is um, after eating, putting my dishes away, cleaning all the pots and pans, wiping down the counters, finishing the process, right? Focusing on the process, not the results, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Talked about scheduling out your day. Schedule when you're going to wake up. Schedule when you go to work. Schedule when you're going to make your calls. Schedule when you're going to go to your classes. Schedule your fun time. Schedule your family time. Sticking to your schedule because your time is the most important thing. That was a really good one. Scheduling out your days, using your planner. You don't have a planner, you're not setting yourself up for success. Okay. Watch and participate in trainings every week, at least 2 times a day. Okay, that's going through your classes or trainings, right? Late to a real estate meeting this morning because I couldn't find out what I was going to wear. Okay, so what he talked about was figuring out what you're going to wear the day before. We only have certain amount of great decisions in our day, so if we can eliminate decisions that we don't need to make by taking care of it the night before, you wouldn't have to worry about that the next day, right? So if you scheduling out your days, you know what's coming, and you prepare for your days the night before, you wouldn't have to worry about what you're going to wear because you took care of that. So for example, I ended up staying up till 1:30 the other night because I came home late. I did my laundry because I knew I was going to be in the Bay Area for a couple of days, and I didn't want to do it the next morning because I had so much other stuff to do. So I ended up staying up that extra hour, right? We call that finishing, right? So that's a technique I've been using is getting ready the day before and doing that, right? Great. So you guys are going through your classes. That's phenomenal. Make a goal of certain number of hours classes or hours a week for classes, right? So what we're talking about, Tiffany, is setting right now, all we're focusing on is these daily promises we can create. We're not talking about huge amounts of hours and huge amount of things. We're creating habits and routines that is going to build self-confidence, right? So whether that's just 2 segments a day, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you can watch 15 minutes in the morning of your class and 15 minutes at night, 30 minutes a day times 7 days a week. That's 4 hours. That means you'll be going through 2 classes a month, right? And I guarantee you, you're going to want to do more when you start getting into certain segments because it's going to just gravitate to you, right? How you do anything is how you do everything, right? And we're just talking about building the confidence and the rituals or the promises. Okay, set me time. Yes, you have to set your time, the scheduling. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on the comments, so I'm waiting. Having a planner is a must. Today, I called my office phone from my cell phone to myself, practicing the script. Brought confidence, became easier than just hearing I did this before. Right. So, practicing scripts. So this is a good segue because I have this right here. I do. I know. So practicing scripts. So I actually created. I have a few other things I want to that I brought up. Let me see. So these are just examples, and you guys know what you do. Like I exercise every single day. I read the Bible every single day. I visualize every single day, and we're going to talk about this. Promises we keep to ourselves. So we're talking about confidence, clarity, and certainty. So sometimes when we don't know what to do or we're not motivated, right? Do we all have some of these days where we're just not motivated? We don't want to put in the work, like we get it. It's not the days where you feel like doing stuff. It's the days you don't feel like stuff that is going to push you forward. We all have those days. We're all in the same boat, right? Let's be honest with each other. We are not always freaking motivated, okay? So having clarity and certainty on what you want is very powerful. So let me show you what I ended up creating today. A new one. So guys, this is my dream board, and I'm going to share it with you guys because clarity was something I struggled with a lot in the beginning of my my entrepreneur business, right? Not being exactly clear. I knew I love to be successful. I know I love making money, but sometimes when you're not motivated, it's a struggle to do that, right? And so what I've been really focusing on is clarity. And I know exactly what I want now, as far as God, as far as my relationships, as far as my business, as far as personalized. And it truly helps because we want to, we don't always have, it's not always sunshine and rainbows in this business. More times it's not, right? So sometimes when we get self-doubt, it's because we focus on the things we don't want instead of focusing on the things we do want. If we focus on the things we don't want, what we end up doing is always recreating those results and going back to doing the same patterns. Now, if we flip that and we focus on what we do want, that's going to create a map for the future. Okay, now let me say that again. If we focus on what we want, it's going to create a map for the future. So I'm super clear on what I want. So I mapped it out. Every day, what I do is I wake up, I exercise. I then pray to God for 15 minutes, and then I have a Bible plan, which helps out with understanding God on a more deeper level. So instead of just praying, I dive into it and meditate on it. And then I spend about 30 minutes visualizing what I see my life in the next 5 years. Okay, visualizing what I want. Okay, and let me show you. I demand of myself apartment buildings that's going to generate me $84,000 a month in passive income net. That's $1 million a year. I'm extremely clear on what I want. I also see myself talking in front of thousands of people in my congregation at church and letting them know my story. If you guys don't know my story, I've lived about 4 lives, right? And I really, truly believe that God's calling is making real estate a platform, which has helped me with speaking to talk to people about what I went through so I can help them. So seeing myself being a big time influence on that, I see myself. And I know what I'm going to do is open up a youth sports league and work on their mindset with at-risk youth, with kids who are, at such a vital age. They're so easily influenced. I want to make sure I'm driving into them, right? And through sports, I'm a fanatic when it comes to football and sports. So that's what I see. I see myself being a huge keynote speaker. I do like training presentations so much, but what I do know is that keynote speakers are one of the most highly paid individuals because why? Public speaking is the number one fear. So if I know I like to speak, and if I can help other business owners and entrepreneurs, I can make a lot of good money on that. Okay. So that's kind of the business, talking to people, the business, and I was never clear on that before. We always talk about a why. I know I wanted a lot of money. So if we're clear on what we want, right? I want a personal chef. I'm going to have a helicopter. What I see is having a house with property so I can have a dirt bike track, so I can have a drag strip, so I can actually race cars on my own property. This is the type of garage I envision myself having a basketball court with my Bentleys and my Ferraris and my Lamborghinis, my motorcycles, my dirt bikes. Having a boxing ring within my complex. This is all something I want on my own property, right? And I've never been more clear. Every morning I visualize me going through my house, running my 3 miles and seeing all these things. And what's crazy is you'll start to get, the universe will start to conform to what you want as long as you're taking an action, right? Obviously I want the 100 million. I want an office building. Everybody wants abs, right? So if we're clear, and the reason why I bring this up to you guys, if we're clear, we should all make a dream board. Everybody needs a dream board. Okay. And I wasn't huge on them. I was never huge on them. And the reason why is because I wasn't clear on what I wanted. So really take that time, guys, and being clear on what you want. Let me see. Can you guys still see me? Being clear on what you want and not focusing on what you don't want will keep you in line and will build that self-confidence because you can see it. And that's something I struggled with a really long time. Being a young kid, all I knew is I wanted to make a lot of money, but now it's so clear on what I want that your actions will follow and the universe will start to conform to you. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that. Get super clear and spend time on that. And it doesn't always come easily and fast. So spend that time, but that's going to give you clarity. Clarity is going to give you confidence. Clarity is going to give you certainty. It's going to give you conviction. I know what I want to do, right? Know exactly what you want to do. So we talked about focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. Visualizing what you want creates a map to the future. Spending your time in the past will have you ending up right where you were. So what we said is, what can we do to gain these confidences, right? We're talking about keeping these promises. How about the 4 core beliefs of Renatus? What is the 4 core beliefs of Renatus? Okay. Everyone needs Renatus. We're doing them a favor. Best income opportunity. They're lost if they say no. So if we memorize those, that's going to give us confidence as well. Hey, you know what? I know everybody needs this. I know everybody wants to get out of debt. I know that everybody wants to get ahead in life, wants to help their children out, change a difference. Hey, you know what? I know I'm doing you a favor because somebody showed this to me and I'm extremely grateful. You know what? And I'm not going to get any doubt and I'm not going to take it personally if they say no, because it's their loss. Because I know this is the best income opportunity in the country. Right? What will 5 years of really focused work, what would that do for you and your family? 5 years. So many people want to focus on, overestimate what we can do in 12 months. I thought I was going to make $1 million my first year. You know how much I made? 0. Absolutely 0. You know what I made the next year? Probably like $7,000, $10,000. Not till my 3rd year of hard work and going through and just nose in the dirt. But it created that confidence because I know I deserve those results because I put in the work. I'm still here. I'm not anywhere close where I want to be, guys. Trust me. We're all in this together, but we're only thing I got is time. Okay? So creating that plan and executing it, right? The daily routine. So it's not enough for you guys to just say what you guys want to be doing on a daily basis. I want you guys to create the plan and physically create a plan, keeping the promises you say you would do. Okay, so that's going through your classes. Another thing I want to say is memorizing. Or no, this is funny. Practicing. Now I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but I think it's very important that I cover these. So we talked about the mindset. Now let's talk about the application. Practicing your ABCs. What is ABCs? What's ABCs? Come on, we got 10 minutes. Let's get in it. Audio business cards. Audio business cards. So how many of you guys lack confidence? And I want everybody to type in. How many of you guys lack confidence when you talk to people because you don't know what to say? Okay, so let's do this. I have 2 audio business cards for you guys. Because what you guys should also be focusing on is getting, getting 1 new contact a day. So really, all you guys need to be focusing on is 2 audio business cards right now until you absolutely can say them in your sleep with complete confidence. So when I talk to people and they ask me what I do, I don't say I do real estate, right? I simply say I help distressed homeowners sell their property simply and easily for quick cash. Do you know anybody looking to sell? Okay. The other one I simply say is I help overworked and underpaid individuals Learn to invest in real estate using none of their own money or credit so they can spend more time doing the things they love. That wouldn't interest you, would it? Now, it's also how you guys say it, right? So I'm going to type this in the chat because everybody, I'm going to quiz you guys on this next week, and I expect everybody to know these by heart because this is going to give you the confidence when you're talking to people. And don't change it. Don't go off a script. Remember what we said, professionals use scripts. The confidence you're going to get is knowing exactly what you're going to say. Okay? That's it. It's super easy. And then you say, well, great. If if it does interest them, just say, hey, let me get your name and number, and I'll invite you out to our new meeting or our next meeting. So practicing your audio business cards. In order, for confidence, is to eliminate any variables, right? To eliminate variables. I help homeowners sell their properties. I help distressed homeowners sell their properties simply and easily. So it should say simply and easy for quick cash. Do you know anybody looking to sell? I help overworked and underpaid individuals learn to invest in real estate using none of their own money or credit so they can spend more time doing the things they love. That wouldn't interest you, would it? So now we're taking the application, right? Because you should be doing that, and everybody you talk to should know what you do. That should be another promise. So if you guys ever get that aching feeling like, man, I know I should talk to them, I know I should tell them what I do, this is how you're going to approach them. It makes it super easy and simple and duplicatable. Any questions about that? Is it clear? Does it make sense? Yeah. So use those. So let's recap. Figure out 1 to 2 promises if you guys are struggling that you can keep with yourself. Some of you maybe have 5, right? Figuring out what that is for you and implementing it and keeping those promises, that's going to help you with your self-confidence. Being extremely clear on what you want, because when you are, those days you don't feel motivated or those days you don't feel like making those calls, you'll be able to look back on it and know this is something that's bigger than yourself. One of the biggest things that I took away from one of the conferences last week, and we'll be talking about some of the different things we pulled away, it says, if you don't win, what did he say? He said, think about the people, if you don't win, who really loses? Something along those lines. If you don't win, who loses? Is it your family? Is it your kids? Your spouse? Who's losing from you not winning? Who's losing? Who's going to feel that pain most? Have your 4 core beliefs. Same thing with real estate. You're out here to help people. Why aren't you? People are so willing to talk about things that they believe in that if they're not, if they feel like they're not selling something and they truly believe in something, they have no problem sharing that with everybody they talk to. Like he says, if you feel like you don't deserve to win, you're not going to take that off the table. But if you feel like this is the best thing for people out there, you have no problem talking about that with every single person. But having the right application will help you guys with that, right? So we want the mindset and then the application. The mindset, then the application. And then don't forget what he said, right? He said, so after he says all that, he then says this. He says, and then take massive action. Right? And you guys are going to start gaining that self-confidence. You're going to gain that momentum just by talking to one person a day. You talk to one person a day, that's 30 people in a month. It's 365 in a year. And you say you can't find anybody to bring to the meeting. But then what you'll realize is you'll start getting resources. People are interested in real estate. People are interested in, they have money. People have problems. People have challenges. You talk to people, you'll start to see those doors opening up. Then you start to get real. Then it starts to become really fun. So, any questions about that? Anything anybody wants to talk about? We covered a lot. Self-confidence, self-belief. It's imperative to your business. It separates the winners to the losers. It separates, the high performers from the average, the elite from the, the amateurs. And that's what we're looking at, right? We're looking to be uncommon. We're relentless. We set high standards for each other. Okay, so for webinars, for people who, there's 4 webinars, okay? So you have interestreduction.com. This is Velocity Banking. That's only 12 minutes. I like to send people that that are kind of looking at our company type of thing, right? Or who'd be interested in that. We have epicplanwebinar.com. This is the intro. That's about 60 minutes. And you have followupwebinar.com. This is the follow-up. So that's in that order that I send it to people and realize where they're at. So if they're kind of on the fence, I send them the interest reduction to pique their interest. If they want more, I'll send them the Epic Plan webinar because that's about 60 minutes. But if they don't know anything about the company, just say, look, you can send them that one. 15minutebriefing.com. So this one will actually go, the 15minutebriefing.com. Yeah, so the 15minutebriefing.com will go in between the interest reduction and the Epic Plan webinar. So everybody make sure you guys have those links because you can send those webinars to people who cannot make it to our events. Okay? And watch them before you send them to people. So you have interestreduction.com, which is the Velocity Banking. Michael Huggins goes over that. 15-minute webinar or 15minutebriefing.com. I believe it's Scott Rowe or one of them. It's only 15 minutes and it just goes over high level of what we do. And the Epic Plan webinar is a 16-minute introduction, which goes into the 5 pillars of wealth. And then you have the follow-up webinar with Michael Huggins, which goes into following up and getting people's questions answered and funding options. So everybody take those down and save them somewhere and use them, watch them. And this will also help you if you watch them as a training tool and will give you confidence on what to say when you're talking to people, right? Be obsessed with learning your product, guys, understanding your product and your services. Think about, if you just study the interestreduction.com, the 12-minute video, Velocity Banking, and you can explain to people the Velocity Banking in 12 minutes, think how much money you would make. Right? If you can simply, easily just copy, right, or modeling. All we do is model, right? We're just modeling other successful individuals, right? So any questions before we wrap this bad boy up? Or any comments? What's your guys' biggest takeaways? What is some of the promises you guys are that you guys want to start implementing in your own lives? Okay, and make sure also in your promises, your money-making activities. That's actually really important, which should be a promise, right? You should always have a money-making activity you're doing every single day. So a money-making activity is see the people tell the story, build for events, and follow and continuous follow-up. This should be in your daily promises as well. Kenny, I don't know what you're talking about. One of the properties is industrial. Oh, you're talking about the list? Okay, well, then skip it. Not a big deal. And start with small things, guys. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about create a huge list. Start with daily small things. Honestly, going through your classes and just inviting people out to the meetings is two things I would say is freaking top dog. Because you'll be able to tell people about what you're learning, right? We're sitting on the gold mine, right? So see the people tell the story. Now, one of the things I'm not, we're doing a lot on this call. We're cramming a lot into an hour, but what we're going to be working on is storytelling. We're going to have to, everybody's going to have to get their story down. If you guys notice, I tell the same story every single time, and we're doing a lot more testimonials. So you guys will be having to tell your stories. So we got to work on that together. We'll get that. Facts sells, stories. Facts tell, stories sell. So we all have a story of why we got into Renatus, what's happening since Renatus, what we're doing. So we'll start implementing that. Yeah. All right, guys. You guys have anything else for me? Figure out what those promises are. We will be back on our regular schedule next week. This Saturday, I will be in Sacramento at the event. Nicole Call, attorney, speaker, educator, will be in Sacramento. So, another thing that is building confidence is showing up for the events, never missing an event. Never miss an event, guys. Build those relationships. Sow those seeds. Every action you have in your business creates momentum, right? Momentum creates results, right? All right, guys. Well, you guys don't have anything else, I'm gonna call it a night. I hope you guys have a phenomenal day or evening. Tomorrow's Think and Grow Thursday. So have a great night. All right, have a good one.